about Man United.
Hello guys, it's your boy over here, Rob, on another episode of the Red Devils Disciples. We're going to have a little look ahead against the match against Newport County, as well as having a look at the pre-match press conference that Erik had. Looking at it, first of all, there was a lot of talk about, obviously, this week, Jurgen Klopp has come out saying that he will be retiring at the end of the season. Ten Hag was asked multiple questions about Klopp, about his legacy, about the fact that he felt tired, drained of energy, and if he could relate to all of that. Obviously, Ten Hag didn't give any responses where it could be made clickbait headlines, should we say, but he was very complimentary about his rival, Jurgen Klopp, which is understandable. Jurgen Klopp has done an amazing job at Liverpool and leaves a great legacy behind. Moving on from that, he was asked about Barada and the impact that's had on the club, and he obviously was very positive in regards to talking about the atmosphere at the club at the moment that Barada has brought in and how everyone's been given a lift, to the point where he actually stated that he's actually quite excited and feels like his vision of the club and Ineos's vision of the club is very aligned. And even went on with quotes where he was saying that he's actually looking forward to the support from Ineos when dealing with other departments that need to raise their standards and corroborate more with the team and with the vision of the team, which is obviously a positive from his perspective. There were some questions over there that seemed to be sort of headline catching questions, should I say, where they were trying to get a reaction out of Ten Hag. You know, when they were talking about Bayandia, for example, and talking about whether he could handle the atmosphere at a smaller ground, and it was very sort of naive from the reporters over there asking questions, sort of saying that is this a good place for him to make his debut? Forgetting that Bayandia played in Turkey and played for Fenerbahce and played against Fenerbahce's biggest rivals, Galatasaray. The atmosphere in those stadiums is something that you don't see in many places in the world. And then when the reporter didn't get the response that he wanted from Ten Hag, or a response that he could use in terms of clickbait, he then tried to redirect it towards Ten Hag himself, saying that last year majority of his cup run games were at home at Old Trafford, and how he would feel about going to a lower level team. And Ten Hag obviously responded really well. I thought he did really well in this press conference. He just said, yeah, but you know what? When I was in Ajax in the Netherlands, I did have away games. I did go to lower league teams, and even went on to say, but we will not be underestimating them in any way, shape, or form. He was saying things like, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we bring our A game. And he was saying that the FA Cup is obviously the last chance for us to get some silverware this year, and he's going to be taking it very seriously. He was asked questions like, for example, will there be any indication or anything regarding bringing a striker in? And his response was a little bit disappointing to Man United fans, but it's also understandable given the financial position we're in, and that FFP just doesn't have any wiggle room at the moment to bring anybody else in. And I think that is something that we should listen to and take into account, because I don't think we are going to be making any signs this January. I think it's very much a case of what we have is what we go with. Our opponent, right, Newport County. Right, so in the last 10 games, they've won 5, they've drawn 4, and they've lost 1 game. They sit currently 16th in the league, and that's League 2, by the way, not even League 1, not the Championship, it's League 2. So in theory, this is a game that we should be quite comfortably winning. However, it's a cup game. They are going to give everything that they can give, and we all know that in cup games, nothing's guaranteed. They run a 5-3-2 formation, so it's a very defensive formation, but their wing-backs do overlap and do push forward, and they sometimes do move to a 3-4-2-1 formation, and it's still the same shape, but it's just more advanced, essentially. I do expect them to sit in against us and try to hit us on the counter-attack, but I don't think that should affect how we play at the moment. We're a much stronger team on paper. We should have better players man-to-man, so I think we go out there and we play our normal style of football. In terms of injuries and returns, guys, we've obviously got Casemiro and Martinez, who have been training with the team for a couple of weeks now. They should be good to go, should be raring to go. They've had a long break in terms of the last match to this game, but it's been a while, as you guys will know. So I think they should be in contention to start the game. Apart from that, we've got Amad Diallo, who's been training with the team now for a couple of weeks too. Again, should be back in the squad. And then we have Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw are back in training from the start of this week. Whether they start or not is still a little bit up in the air from what I've heard. Luke Shaw looks like he will be starting. Maguire probably not. He'll probably start on the bench. But again, we'll see. At the end of the day, the manager will make a decision on game day tomorrow. Bayern Dia. So Bayern Dia is set to start for the first time for Man United, set to make his debut. Now, I know Onana and Cameroon have been knocked out of the AFCON, but to be honest with you, I'd like to see what Bayern Dia can bring to the table. I think Onana's had lots of chances, and I'm fully behind Onana, but it's one of those where this guy has been patiently waiting, being really supportive to Onana, and it's his turn to have a go and see what he can do in a Man United shirt. This is a guy that has played internationally for Turkey. Again, played for Fenerbahce, was a starting goalkeeper there, won the Turkish league and all that kind of stuff. So he's not someone who's coming in as an amateur or coming in with the intentions of being a backup. He's coming in with the intentions that he wants to fight for that first team position. And we saw an interview with him a few weeks ago, and it was very positive, sort of saying about this is a dream move for him and how happy he is to be here, and about how it's all about positivity and supporting each other in terms of the goalkeepers, even though he hasn't been given a go. So I think it's time that we gave this man a chance and go. In front of him, I have gone with Varane and Martinez. I think this is a perfect game to test them out together. The manager's already stated that he's going to go with a strong lineup and he's going to take this really seriously. So I'm putting forward the strongest lineup that I can put forward. And I think Martinez giving him a good 60 minutes at least to see whether or not he's ready for Wolves later on Thursday would be a good step up from the 30 minutes he had against Spurs. And obviously Varane is fit, so I think Varane starts and Varane plays. At right back, I've gone with Dallo, and at left back, I've gone with Luke Shaw. Again, Luke Shaw, I know he's back in training only this week. I would start him if he is ready, to see if we can get him ready for the midweek game and for the weekend. If not, it would be a case of just switching Dallo to left back and maybe bringing Aaron Wan-Bissaka in at right back. It's something that can happen. But what I really want to see from our wing backs is more overlapping runs rather than just pass, turn around, pass back. I want to see them overlapping our wingers and putting more crosses into the ball so that Højlund can get at the end of it, or Rashford on the opposite wing, or even if Garnacho or anybody that's in that box, essentially. But I want to see more overlapping runs and more crosses from them. In midfield, I've gone with Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro. Casemiro's been back in training for a few weeks. I haven't heard any reason why he shouldn't be playing tomorrow. I think it's one of those situations where I'd love to see these two playing together. I think they provide great cover with each other. And I think that they would provide a balance in midfield that we just haven't had this year. Whether we played McTominay or Eriksen or Bruno there, what tends to happen is they push forward and then they leave the other player that's left behind exposed. I reckon Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo will protect each other, will protect the centre-backs, and will also provide that happy medium balance of pushing forward, but also understanding that they need to get back to protect their positions. So as far as I'm concerned, they'll complement each other really well. Still haven't seen them play together properly, so I would love to see that tomorrow. It's a good test for them. And then just in front of them, I've got Bruno. I think with Bruno, we could give him a free role if we've got Casemiro and Mainoo behind him. And when I say free role, I mean a bit of a more roaming role. He tends to play at his best when he's not restricted to a position. He roams anyway, and he just leaves us exposed when we don't have people covering him. So I think it would be good to see how he does with a bit of cover behind him and a little bit more freedom. Now, I'm not saying go play left wing, go play right wing. No, you're playing behind the striker, so still stay in that area, but a bit more freedom to move about and to sort of make decisions based on what he sees at the pitch. At the end of the day, he's been made our captain for a reason, and when he first came, he was absolutely deadly with his assists, with his passing, and with goal scoring, and he had more of a free role, so I'd like to see him revert back to that. On the wings, I've gone with Marcus Rashford on the left wing and Alejandro Garnacho on the right wing. I think Alejandro Garnacho has cemented his place in the starting lineup. I'll be honest with you, before I drop him, I would probably drop Rashford at this point right now. Although what I would say is for Marcus is that we've started to see sort of a re-emergence of the form we're used to seeing from him last year. Is it at the same level? No, but he started sort of little movements where you can see him getting in behind defenders, getting into positions. A couple of goals have started going in for him, and you can almost see something starting to re-emerge, essentially. Obviously, I could have gone with Anthony. I could have gone with Diallo, who's fit again. But I think I've stuck with Garnacho and Rashford for now. And then up front, I've gone with Højlund. I mean, at the end of the day, Højlund just got off the mark recently in the Premier League. This would be a good game for him to score another goal and keep the momentum going forward. In my opinion, it's one of those where you want him to score, and just keep scoring every game, build his confidence, and then we'll see where he goes from there. But I think a couple of key things that I do want to see in tomorrow's game, fingers crossed, is one, overlapping runs from our wing backs, two, our midfielders communicating and also covering each other and working for the team rather than just bombarding forward to try and get the end of a ball. Well, don't leave us exposed, kind of control yourself a little bit. I think with Scott McTominay, we've had that a little bit recently where he goes and then he just leaves whoever's left behind exposed. And then I want to see more crosses into the box from either our wingers or our wing backs. It doesn't really bother me who it comes from, but at the moment we've not really given Højlund much of service. Even the goals he scored, if you look at them, it's had to be him running into the ball, as in on his feet, and maybe dribbling past the player or making a move or something like that. Whereas what I want to see is real simple tap-ins. I want to see the ball get into him on the edge of the 6-yard box and just a tap in. That's all we need from him. At the end of the day, he should be getting those opportunities and he isn't getting them. If you like, guys, tune in later this evening, because I realize I'm saying tomorrow because I'm recording this on the Saturday. But ultimately, I'll be back right after the game with my post-match analysis and just having a quick conversation about the game itself. If you like what you're hearing, guys, and you would like to see more, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. At the same time, guys, if you have a disagreement with the team and the reasons why, please post them down below in the comments. I'd love to see your opinions. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything. Other than that, guys, fingers crossed for the game. Hopefully it'll be a good one for us to watch. Have a nice day. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.